ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Thursday, April 30th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour, it's brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. We do that every day at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We're going to open up the text line early for you today, give you a chance to jump in as we've got a busy week ahead of us. Marshall softball taking the field here shortly. The Herd has a chance to win the Sun Belt Conference regular season championship, or at least a share of it. That's the good news here. Marshall could possibly win a share of this. If you win out and you're still tied with ULM, you got a share of it, and that's fine. If you can win out and ULM will hopefully drop one, you win it outright. Again, that's what you're looking for right now. You have an opportunity. You got to take care of your business, though, and it all begins at the dot tonight. Hopefully, the Thundering Herd can win the next three. And again, remember, it's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday because we get conference coming up here in the next few days as well. So we're that close to the Sun Belt Conference Championship. And then baseball is going to be right behind that. Hey, speaking of baseball, let's get you caught up in everything, starting with the Herd. Marshall got the win over Ohio 5-2. It was a top of the first inning grand slam home run by Marshall's Jackson Halter. And so the Herd and the Bobcats split the two-game series, but more importantly, the Thundering Herd gets the victory, and the pitching held up. That was impressive. Halter went 2 for 4 in that game, but I was happy that the pitching held up for Marshall. And so Marshall gets the win, and team's now 20-24. Got to get ready, though. You're right back at it. You're into conference play now. And you're on the road. Friday start in Harrisonburg against James Madison. So this is an important series coming up for the Thundering Herd. You got to start making your way to the upper part of that standing leaderboard. You have to. If you have any chance of maybe making a run in the conference tournament, now you got to start putting it together. So I'm hopeful that this will help a little bit. At least it's a win. You can springboard yourself on the road, and you feel good heading into Harrisonburg against JMU. And, of course, speaking of JMU, the Herd opening up the series tonight against James Madison on the softball field. So some important series being played here for Marshall against JMU this weekend. Baseball action earlier today right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. It was the St. Louis Cardinals sweeping the series against the Pirates 10-5. Pirates are now on a 5-game losing streak, 16-16, fifth in the NL Central. Paul Swann with the loss. And up next for the Pirates will be the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds took care of a little business, got a little redemption, beating the Rockies 6-4. Reds are now 20-11, first in the NL Central. So those two teams are going to meet. We're going to have that game for you starting tomorrow right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. This might be an opportunity for the Pirates because, honestly, the Reds, doesn't matter. The Reds can have a really good team, and the Pirates will somehow find a way to beat the Reds. It happened again earlier this season. I don't know what it is about the Pirates, but Pittsburgh sometimes is like kryptonite to the Cincinnati Reds. So we'll find out what's going to happen tonight for the rest of the standings. But the Reds right now on top of the league A lot of games to be played. Right now, we've got the Royals trailing the Athletics 5-2. That's in the top of the 7th. The Astros are on top of the Orioles 10-3 in the top of the 5th. Earlier today, it was Detroit beating Atlanta 5-2. It was the Phillies getting the win over the Giants 3-2. Nationals beat the Mets 5-4, and the Brewers beat the Diamondbacks 13-1. That is ugly. And, of course, earlier today in the doubleheader, the Astros fell to the Orioles 10-3. So that's a look at what you have in store for you rest of the night. And baseball, Giants and Phillies coming up, Blue Jays and Twins. And then we flip over to the NBA. NBA heating up, right? This was looking pretty good. The Hawks and the Knicks. Hawks are hosting. New York leads the series 3-2. Can eliminate the Hawks tonight, 7 o'clock. And then the Celtics are trailing. The Celtics are leading the 76ers 3-2. And its series can eliminate the Sixers tonight. And that's coming up at 8 o'clock. Timberwolves and Nuggets, 9:30 tonight. A little late night basketball. Minnesota leads that series 3-2. And then in the NHL tonight, we have got the Stars and the Wild. And that is Game 6 coming up. Minnesota leads that series 3-2. So Dallas trailing Minnesota 3-2 there. And then Oilers and Ducks. Game 6, Anaheim leads that series 3-2 as well. And, of course, what really made me happy yesterday, and apologies to yesterday's guest, John Mercer, head coach of the Marshall tennis team. John was so gracious to come on the program with us. However, our friendship isn't absolute because he is a Pittsburgh fan, a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. And so the Penguins lost the series to the Flyers in overtime. That's the hardest way to go out, in overtime. 1-0. So the Flyers win the series 4-2. And I was probably the happiest person not in Philadelphia last night for that. Not a Philadelphia Flyers fan, not a Philadelphia native, nothing. But I was probably the happiest person outside of Philadelphia for that. The Mammoth had to one-up the Penguins and the Flyers matchup, Mammoth and the Golden Knights. It was a 5-4 victory for the Golden Knights in double overtime. And then the Canadiens beat the Lightning 3-2. The Canadiens now lead the series there 3-2. And the Golden Knights lead the series against the Mammoth 3-2. So we've got a couple interesting ones tonight. Should be fun. I think that the Oilers and Ducks probably go 7. I could say the same thing. You know what? I think Stars Wild, they might go 7 as well. Don't go on the sporting books and bet that based on what I said. It could go either way. So we've got a busy night on the ice, a busy night on the hardwood floors of the NBA, and we got a few baseball games that are coming up tonight. So very interesting schedule the next couple of days. Softball, of course, going on at the dot later as the Herd getting sent to take on James Madison. This is a key series, must-win series. A sweep would seal the deal, and Marshall would clinch at least a share of the regular season championship. Anything else, and you take your own destiny out of your hands. Anything else. So win out, you at least have a share of the championship, and then you go into the tournament trying to claim the tournament championship as well. We'll get your text in, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More coming up on today's edition of Your Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. But before we take our break, I do want to remind you that coming up tomorrow, it'll be Pirates baseball. The Pirates taking on the Reds, and we'll have that game for you after the show. And again, that's going to be right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So apologize. We've got a slight technical hiccup. So I am stalling until we can get something rebooted real quick, and then we'll take our break. So thanks for being a part of it. And, of course, you can get those texts in. Go ahead and do that now. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That is the number to be a part of the show. And, again, 304-396-TALK, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, our text line. So as soon as we get this situated, we'll get to our break, and then we'll come back, and we'll get this thing really going here on The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. And, again, apologize for the slight delay here. Some days it just doesn't work. Text line 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More coming up on this edition of Your Drive.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you, with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou, because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds too. Get a quote right now at 800-511-3535, 800-511-3535, or biglou.com.
At Poca Valley Bank, a handshake can still mean the start of a great relationship. We've been greeting customers with a handshake since 1908. Why settle for less? If you're purchasing your first home or planning for your future, Poca Valley Bank is here to support you with personalized service and local expertise. They are your trusted advisors. Why settle for less when you can experience banking with a team that truly cares? Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Visit PocaValleyBank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Save big money on your next painting project at Menards. Do you have a painting job that requires crisp, clean lines? Look no further than Frog Tape. Their premium-grade painter's tape includes paint block technology that seals edges for sharp paint lines. Get your paint project started today and pick up a roll of multi-surface Frog Tape on sale now through May 3rd. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals.
Save big money at Menards.
You've cut back on everything and you're still coming up short at the end of the month. Give your local State Farm agent a call for a free discount double check. They'll show you how something as simple as combining car and home policies can save you hundreds of dollars a year. Being there to help keep more of your money is why your local State Farm agent is here. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
In Huntington, Ray Crabtree, 304-736-8181. In Milton, Russ McRae, 304-743-9318. And in Lavalette, Jason Elkins, 304-529-7555.
Looking for midweek fun? Head to Frank's Place, where every night's a party. Wednesdays are full of brains and brews with trivia night. Grab your crew and show off what you know. Thursdays, crank it up with Singo Bingo. Music meets bingo for prizes and laughs. Then Fridays, we hand you the mic for karaoke night. Sing your heart out and start your weekend right. The fun never stops at Frank's Place. Great drinks, great friends, and good times. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check them out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Last night we put on an epic light show.
Yeah, we did.
The crowd loved us. We love the crowd.
Wait, but there were only 4 people out there.
Yeah, but did you see their 4 faces? All 8 of their eyes lit up brighter than ours. And we're fireflies.
Yeah, we are.
Hey, that one girl, she looked like she'd never seen glow in the dark like this before, and we invented glow in the dark.
Yeah, we invented it.
And we're gonna be out here every night, rocking out our light show at a forest near you.
Woohoo!
So come check us out.
Check us out.
And bring your kid, all ages. outrageous show. Oh, but don't bring any of those glass jars, because they make us kind of nervous.
Dad, I'm super claustrophobic.
Whether you're rocking their world or they're rocking yours, some memories never fade. Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you and discover other cool things to do when you go, like fishing, biking, or even camping. Visit discovertheforest.org.
See you later!
Yeah, see you soon.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talkline, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
We continue with your Thursday edition of The Drive. Our text line is open, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter just sent me a heads up that the Thundering Herd official basketball account on X has posted that Keenan Zelau is officially part of the Thundering Herd, and he is going to be hopefully a real high-value asset for the Thundering Herd. 6'9" prospect. He is out of Kings Heights Academy. That is in Thornhill, Ontario. Zelau is regarded as a guy that has a high motor. That was the way he was described. Supposedly, he's a guy that's going to not only give you a lot of energy, he's going to run the floor well, and he's somebody that will go after the ball. He will compete on the glass, and he's got a lot of upside. So you're bringing someone in that has a motor, that can work the floor, compete on the glass. Should be if he stays, that should be a really nice addition long-term for the Thundering Herd. We appreciate the texter giving us a heads up. And again, you can be a part of the program by texting in at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255 for today's edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We're just under, 40 minutes from first pitch. Herd getting set to take on JMU. Herd has a chance to clinch at least a share of the regular season crown. You got to get the first one, though, to get the second and third one. That starts tonight at the Dot. And, of course, after that, we'll see where the Herd gets in the tournament. Hopefully the Herd doesn't, and I don't think this is going to happen. And don't listen to this show if you're a softball player for the next 2 or 3 days, because I don't want that to get into your head. But is this going to be a moment where there's a lot on the line here and the pressure is just a little bit there? I mean, they've been running from the front pretty much the entire season, and you get to this point now, you know that, okay, we're tied with ULM, and you can't control what they're doing. You can only control what you're doing, but you're hopeful that JMU doesn't come in and get hot, steal a victory. The good news is I don't think that the Herd will overlook JMU. Not worried about that. But, that's got to be in just a little bit of the back of your head. And if it's not, again, if you're a softball player, just turn this show off now. Go focus on the game. No, they're not listening. But you get what I'm saying. Don't let that get into your head. This is going to be an important series for the Herd, and it has to be because, Coach Z was close last year in the regular season. Now let's see if the Herd can get it done and clinch that regular season championship. I mean, Marshall's had a pretty good last few weeks. John Mercer finishing runner-up in the Sun Belt Conference tournament. Good performance there. A lot of potential for next season. Softball is on the verge of clinching at least a share of the Sun Belt Conference regular season championship, and that would be a great reward for what Coach Z has done over the last 3 seasons. I mean, that's what you expect. Softball is one of those sports where you have to compete every year for championship because that's just the standard. That's what's been set for all coaches from the beginning of the program to now, you have to be one of the best. You have to compete. It's in the DNA of this program. So softball is one of those signature sports. 304-396-TALK is the text line, 304-396-8255. Since we're talking about transfer portal, texter wants to know, where do you rate this group so far? That's hard to say. To be fair, that's hard to say. Because it's a collection of guys right now. As all classes are. But this isn't one of those situations where you've got a strong nucleus and you have a core that's come back and can lead the newer players. You don't truly have that. I mean, this is pretty much almost a reset. And it's going to be a reset every single year unless this transfer portal cools off a little bit and you get to a point where you can keep a player 2 or 3 years. Of course, that's going to be 100% dependent on the player at this point. Does that player want to stay at Marshall University? Would winning a regular season championship in the Sun Belt and putting a tournament championship on the resume, getting into the NCAA tournament as well, would that help for the next season? That's the big question. Yeah, Marshall was in a spot where it was close. Close doesn't get it done in most sports, but close to be fair. And you put yourself in that position. To be honest, Marshall, a couple of things went Marshall's way, Marshall would have been the number 1 seed. A couple of things go Marshall's way, Marshall wins the tournament, right? That's where a lot of the, woulda, coulda, shoulda's come in. But Marshall was close. Coach Jackson brought a group of guys in, had some core guys, put them all together. One season, close. Now you got to do it again. And if you can get lucky, it's partially luck. You always want to be lucky. But if this team would be fortunate enough to be able to put it all together, get into the NCAA tournament, I think that maybe helps just a little bit. That, hey, we got a team that can get into the NCAA tournament. Let's do that again. Or what happens is you got a team that gets into the NCAA tournament and you got a group of guys that go, hey, all right, we got this going. Wonder where I can go next. I wonder how I can make this into something else better for me. That's the catch-22 here, isn't it? So we're hopeful. All right, here's an interesting one. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. I like this one. You know what? No, I'm gonna save this one for after the break. I'm going to go with this. I got another one. I'm going to go with this one first before we hit the break. Texter wants to know, in their prime, would you rather have Jerry Rice or Randy Moss on your team? Okay, we're talking prime Randy Moss, and we're talking prime Jerry Rice. Am I understanding that? Prime Randy, prime Jerry, at their zenith. We'll get your thoughts on that and mine when we continue on this edition of Your Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
The Summer Fun Passport is here. Sign up now for this free passport and earn prizes all summer long. Head to the station's website or Facebook page. Click the Summer Fun Passport link and register. That enters you to win a 3-night trip to Myrtle Beach. Amp up the fun by visiting our participating local businesses. Check in on the Summer Fun Passport and you'll earn points to win more prizes. Check in with these businesses when you arrive. Jerks Pullman Square, Ichiban Hibachi Steakhouse, the Greater Huntington Parks and Recreation, Armory Steakhouse, Paramount Theater Ashland, Kel's Tavern, the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Gallipolis First Fridays, 9th Street Live, and Dog Dazzle. The Summer Fun Passport's brought to you by Tailgaters Carryout, Coons Corner Sip and Shop, and Kindred Communications. Get on this station's website, sign up for your free passport, and win all summer long with the Summer Fun Passport.
Metro Community Federal Credit Union now brings you all the tech that big banks have, but still has that personal touch of a member-owned community credit union. Apple Pay? Got it. Digital wallet? Yep. Message pay by text, online loan payments, even chatting with a real person, not a bot. Open accounts, sign documents, and manage your money all online. It's the big bank tech you need from the local community-minded credit union you trust. Metro Community FCU. Visit metrocommunityfcu.com today.
Grab the mic and bring the fun to the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe. It's Mike Night every Saturday from 8 till 10. Whether you're a total rock star or just a shower singer who loves to have fun, grab the mic, sing loud, and make a night of it. And every Thursday evening, it's Wingo Singo Bingo. Every Thursday from 7 to 9. Singo Bingo plus 50-cent bonus wings. Great food, great drinks, and great fun. Every week at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, across from Pullman Square, downtown Huntington.
No matter where you are in life, Mount West Community and Technical College isn't just about an education. It's a step toward your future. We provide the hands-on support you need with classes that fit your life. At Mount West, we know you by name because here, you're more than just a number. Mount West Community and Technical College, because you matter here. Visit mctc.edu to apply today.
Spring is sprung, and savings are in full bloom at Menards. Visit Menards Garden Center for everything you need to get your garden growing. Choose from hundreds of beautiful, colorful flowers, lush trees and shrubs, and everything in between. Menards Garden Center is back in bloom. Stop in today to get your garden on. Check out fresh deals happening now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
We continue with your text at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We got a couple of interesting ones. Let me start with the one we teased you with before we hit the break. Texter wanted to know, in their prime, would you rather have Jerry Rice or Randy Moss on your team? You're going to make me answer that, aren't you? You're absolutely going to make me answer that. All right. I'm taking the Marshall equation out of this, all right? Randy Moss is the most freakish, terrifying receiver ever. Ever. In his prime, he was a freak of nature. He destroyed coverages. You had to deal with him. He was the big bad on the team. And you had to constantly be aware of him because the ball goes deep, Randy catches it. But Jerry Rice, the complete package. And I hate the 49ers. Let me tell you this right now. Let me absolutely stress that. I hate the 49ers. Not as a fan of the Bengals, but as a fan of the Bengals. I hate a childhood fan of the Bengals. I hate the 49ers. Jerry Rice is the complete package. He had elite route running. He was consistent for the longest possible time. Randy is hyper smart. Jerry is just a little bit better when it comes to football IQ. Jerry's just a little, I mean, you're comparing two high-level IQs in football. I think Jerry edges him just a little bit because he was consistent. He could beat you deep. Randy Moss can beat you deep. Jerry Rice could beat you deep. Underneath, Jerry Rice. You need a guy to block for you in the run game? You need a guy to do that? Jerry Rice. Who showed up every week? Jerry Rice. Who has all the major records? Or basically all the major records? Jerry Rice. Besides, I don't know who the quarterback is of this team. Who this theoretical quarterback is. What team are we putting these two on? If I'm taking it, do I have an elite quarterback? Yeah, do I have a quarterback that is just a deep ball? What do I have here? What am I looking at here? I mean, I don't know if I can make – this isn't like one-on-one Jordan versus LeBron. This isn't like, okay, they're going to play a one time only, one-on-one. Who wins? Jordan or LeBron? Here's the ball. Let's go. Whew. That'd be a fun matchup, wouldn't it? Jordan Prime versus LeBron Prime. You know what? I'll throw a monkey wrench into that one. Kobe Prime. And again, I'm not a Kobe guy. I like Kobe. I just don't like Kobe. There's a lot about him that, I wasn't a big fan of. I've softened on him. So, yeah, I'm taking Jerry Rice. It's tough to take. I mean, if I ended up with Randy, I'd be good there. But, boy, we'd be chucking the ball deep. That'd be my game plan. Like, okay, protect me. Let's get deep. With Jerry, I could probably work the routes a little bit better. I could surgically pick apart a team if I had Jerry. All right, here's another one. I like this one too. This is a very good question. I'm going to have to put some serious thought into this one. So the texter asks, overall, is the women's athletic program or men's programs better collectively at Marshall University currently and historically? That's a good question. Okay, so football, you want to start tracking football. Football started to come of age around the 80s, started going into the 90s, and then it dropped off, and it's coming back. It's won championships, but not like it did in the 90s. Not like it did, at first part, with guys like Chad and Randy and Byron, Troy Brown. We could go on and on. So football is what Marshall's known for now. Baseball historically has not thrived. Baseball's had an unfair disadvantage. So I'm going to say baseball, jury's out. New stadium. Let's see what happens long term with this program. Cross country, I think the women are ahead of the men right now. That'll change. It'll even out, but I'm going to say that for cross country, track and field, just, in general, I'm lumping it all together. The track and field, I think that historically the women have probably had, because the women's program's been around, we had to restart men's. So cross country is, I'm going to lean towards the women on that one. With golf, I'm going to lean towards the men right now. And again, I'm not saying one's better than the other, but I think that there is, there's more evidence towards success on the men's side with golf. For soccer, it's going to be the men. But there are some sports that the men don't have that the women do. So what's had NCAA participation? And of course, I'm going to lean towards the big sports, football and soccer and basketball. I mean, for a while, Marshall was a basketball school. Historically, the men's basketball program has been better than the women's basketball program. Historically, you look at the conference championships, you look at times in the NCAA tournament, you look at things like that. Historically. Then you get Kim Caldwell to come in, you get into the NCAA tournament, you get Julie Folks to come in, you get into the WNIT, you win that. So it's pretty tight right now. I'll give a slight edge now to the women, a slight edge. Historically, the edge goes to the men. Soccer, and again, I'm just going to compare the sports that we can cross over with first. The edge goes to the men. So the men have the edge in basketball. The men have the edge in soccer. The men have the edge in golf. Track and field and cross country, the women have the edge. Volleyball, Mitch Jacobs won. He had probably the most success with the program. For tennis, the Mercers have run a tremendous program. It is a consistent source of pride, I think. It has to be. It should be. They just are good every year. And some years they break through. Other years, they're close. Swimming and diving, historically, before it was shut down, and I'm not talking about the current version, I'm talking about, when I was, before I went to Marshall, it was good. Softball is a consistent contender. That's tough. Just off the cuff here. Just off the cuff here. Because you can point to each program having success. And you can point to a lot of basketball success recently for the women. And so right now, I think the women's basketball team has a little bit more shine to it. I think softball's definitely got more shine to it. I think tennis has shine to it. Volleyball still to be determined right now. Track and field, I like where the program's going on both the men's and women's side. So historically it's been the women, but I'm going to say push right now. Swimming and diving, hey, let's see what happens here. Let's see. Golf, I'm going to give that. Again, I think the golf side, historically, I would say the men. I would say, though, the women's programs are on the upward, are rising. I would also say that football is trying to get its shine back, but on the men's side, the standard right now is soccer. men's soccer at Marshall on the men. Yeah, for the men, soccer is the gold standard, and I think basketball is really good and really close, depending on what coach can do. And it was close. It was close. Baseball's got some work to do. Cross country, track and field. That's always an ongoing project there. But for the women, I think you get a little bit more shine with basketball, with softball, with tennis. The track and field on the women's side is probably better than the men's side, maybe. I'm gonna say though, just without doing the deep dive research here, obviously football has its championships. Men's soccer has more titles. Basketball, the men have more titles than the women do. So I'm going to say a slight edge to the men's programs, a slight edge, but the women are coming because basketball is rising. Tennis just show what it can do. Softball showing what it can do. I still give the edge slightly to the men on that. And I think we're definitely going to have to dig this one up a little bit more deeper, just to be fair about it. I like the question though. It's a great topic. Here we go. Texter says, Paul, I agree with your comparison 100%. I'm surprised that you have true Bengal and 49er history. Did you watch the games live? Yes. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for the text. Yes. 81's more of a... I was like, what? I think it was 9. So that's like 9-year-old me for 81. 88, that was a little different, though. Boomer Esiason was my guy. He was my favorite quarterback pretty much all the way up to Joe Burrow. And he probably still is, but he was my favorite guy. But all my favorite wide receivers have come lately. I do like Collinsworth. Always have. But the Bengals and 88, that's probably more of my team. The 81 team, that was Ken Anderson, who's the quarterback. That was my grandmother's favorite quarterback, Kenny Anderson before Boomer came around. But that was her quarterback. I was, again, that's 9. And that's the one where, I was a big fan of Sam Wyche, and he had that sugar huddle. That was my coming of age with really the Bengals. And I had the Icky Woods shirt. I'm in high school. I got the Icky Woods shirt. I'm doing the Icky Shuffle. We're all doing the Icky Shuffle, right? And I really thought that the Bengals would win that game. You lose Tim Crumry in that game. And that was probably the best team to never win a Super Bowl. That team right there, probably the best team to never win a Super Bowl. And it's completely been hit or miss with the Bengals since. But if the Bengals can shore up the defense, put some more weapons in front of Burrow, shore up that offensive line. I know I'm not asking for much, right? Just a defense and a line to protect Joe Burrow. That's all I'm asking. I think the Bengals, of course, legitimately got a shot. You have to get it going now. The championship window, I don't know how big that is compared to what it was a few years ago. You have Joe Burrow. You got to use him now. You can't waste him now. You don't get another Joe Burrow. Okay, here we go before we get the break. I like this one. Texter says, Paul, what Marshall NFL player outclassed their peer group? Rice and Moss were great, but did they stand far above the peer group than, say, Mike Bartram as a long snapper? Interesting. That's an interesting question. And you know what? We'll tackle it after the break here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Save big money on everything at Menards. Take control of your outdoor space with Roundup, Weed, and Grass Killer. The Pump and Go container is ready and easy to use. With the Pump and Go sprayer, you don't need to mix your own liquid, and you get up to 10 minutes of continuous spray. Save big on Roundup, Weed, and Grass Killer. Plus, check out our flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Darryl Strawberry is coming to the Tri-State to speak with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and you're invited to the Night of Champions on May 12th at the St. Mary's Center of Education for dinner. The legendary Darryl Strawberry will share his journey with the struggles and redemption that has been a part of his life. Dinner tickets start at $125 and must be purchased in advance. Sponsorship opportunities are available. I'm Paul Swann, Sports Director for Kindred Communications. This is a special opportunity for all of us, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes and Darryl Strawberry, May 12th at the St. Mary's Center for Education.
Looking for midweek fun? Head to Frank's Place, where every night's a party. Wednesdays are full of brains and brews with trivia night. Grab your crew and show off what you know. Thursdays, crank it up with Singo Bingo. Music meets bingo for prizes and laughs. Then Fridays, we hand you the mic for karaoke night. Sing your heart out and start your weekend right. The fun never stops at Frank's Place. Great drinks, great friends, and good times. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check them out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
The Marshall Sports Medicine Institute, the exclusive provider of sports medicine services to Marshall University Athletics, is pleased to offer walk-in clinics 6 days a week. Full-service appointments are available on a walk-in basis weekdays from 9 until 3, and a screening clinic is conducted Saturday mornings 8 to 10. No appointment necessary. For more information, call 304-691-1880. The Marshall Sports Medicine Institute, taking care of the herd, taking care of you.
O'Reilly.
Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
So you see, son, good manners are very, very important. Someday, many years from now, when you're a grown-up, you'll be a man. And when you are, you should be a gentleman. Do you want me to go through it one more time?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If a door's shut, then knock first. Don't burp, don't swear, don't speak with your mouth full, don't reach across people's plates, keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
And don't interrupt. While we're at it, don't stare, don't use foul language, don't call people names, but do remember people's names. Always share your toys, play nice, and cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give up your seat to anyone who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
I want to thank my mommy for loving me so much, for taking me out to the park, for reading me books, for taking
me to the doctor when I broke my foot in ballet rehearsal,
for leaving me alone when I wanted to be alone.
And now, as a grown-up, I'm thankful for being able to take care of you, my dear mom, for having the chance to take you to the park, for reading you those books we enjoy so much, for being able to take you to your therapies after you twisted your ankle. for understanding that sometimes you simply want to be alone.
Roles change without us noticing. And in your new role, we help you help. Visit aarp.org/caregiving to get practical health and wellness tips to provide even better care for your loved one. Remember, visit aarp.org/caregiving. AARP. We help you help. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
We continue on with this edition of Your Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We've got some good stuff from the text line today, and you can be a part of it as well. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. I left you with this one after we got it before the break. I was asked what Marshall NFL player outclassed their peer group. Rice and Moss were great, but did they stand far above the peer group than, say, Mike Bartram as a long snapper? That's an interesting question, and if I understand it correctly, if not, we're gonna play with this one. But I'm gonna lower that a little bit. I'm just going, what Marshall player outclassed the peer group? Because it's a short list. If you're looking for a Marshall player that was pretty much, if you look at everyone else and you look at the Marshall player, and the Marshall player was basically heads and shoulders above everyone, it's Moss. Yeah, did Mike Bartram, did he outclass the peer group, or was he exceptional? But still maybe not like the one guy we look at and go, okay, he was the guy. There's some interesting names that come up in NFL history for the Thundering Herd. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna put my, for those of you that are longtime members of the show, you know who I'm talking about. For those of you that are new with us, former friend passed away. Woody Woodrum used to be co-host of the show with me years ago when I joined the company. Marshall historian, longtime equipment manager. You know, if you know Woody, you know the story. If you don't, look him up. Great guy. Miss him every single day that I do the show. All right, I'm putting the Woody Woodrum hat on here. Woody would probably sit in the corner right now and say, Paul, I'm not doing the voice, sorry. He would go, Paul, Norman Wildman Wiley. He was a standout defensive end for the Philadelphia Eagles. He was a 2-time Pro Bowler. He was a 3-time All-Pro. He was a 13-round pick. 13th round pick for Marshall, 13. He had, and you know what? They say it's unofficial. I don't care. It's official. Again, doing the Woody cadence, not the voice. He had an unofficial 17 sacks against the New York Giants in 1952. He was in 92 games, and he got injured. If he wouldn't have got injured, we'd be talking about him right now. He was a fullback. They moved him over to defensive end. That's it. That's all I got today. That's as far as I can go with that question. We got to revisit that one. All right. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back with you tomorrow here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington, your flagship home of the Marshall Thundering Herd and The Drive with Paul Swann, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.